Hi guys, Tech here, and I wanted to go over the state of the game as of 3.19.0 and the nerf that is coming to today for defensive Archnemesis modifiers. This is welcome. It doesn't get there though. What they need to do to really fix defensive and offensive Archnemesis modifiers is remove them from stacking together. They need to take all that multiplicative cast speed and reses and all that kind of stuff and put that back into the loot pool, or rework harvest to where it's good again. Or they have to turn on smart loot. There's like 3 paths that they can follow here to save the game in the dumpster fire that it is currently. And I try not to be very, very negative. I don't think it's healthy, but I also don't try to not call out very specific issues and the root of the issues, because I think that that is our job as like a community and as like even a small content creator like myself, which they're probably never going to see this, and that's okay. The core issue is it stacks here, and they removed the stacking from loot. Now, we're supposed to have hard mode, okay? This destruction of loot feels like what you want hard mode to be. And we need to do something to separate the vision of a catastrophically difficult game from what players actually want. Where people, once they're geared, can ramp up to the challenge, but it's not on by default. And that's the issue we're facing right now, is gear is too bad because crafting is too bad. Not actually because of loot. Harvest is gutted in a lot of ways, and it was really bad on launch. Harvest is also the main way most players upgrade their gear early on. So you took something that is almost a necessity for most players, especially more of my audience, which is not necessarily brand new, but like newer and more intermediate players. You took something that really impacts them and their ability to progress and play the game and enjoy it, and you gutted it. You gutted it completely. And you made it where a lot of builds are just negated by the craziness that the multiplicative stacking how it works. So the easy way to fix this is you remove stacking from Archnemesis, offensive and defensive. That will fix like 90% of the Archnemesis gameplay loop, where there's still going to be mobs that are difficult. They're not going to be nearly as difficult as they were. There's still going to be mobs that are going to be hard for your build, but not nearly as many as there were. But most importantly, the game is more enjoyable. And you don't have to ditch the whole system. Because if they keep doubling down, they're going to have to ditch the whole system, or the game's going to die. That's the reality of this, is they're trying to balance the game towards people that have good gear and that are at the very top of the charts. I'm not one of those people, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not one of those people. The problem with balancing around people like Impy and people like Ziz and people like Mathel, right? And people that really, really, really have an extremely high skill ceiling for the game. You can't balance around number of hours played. There's nothing you can ever do that will balance around number of hours played. However, what you could do is you could make Archnemesis turn on at full force for people that want a challenge. and you can just make an Atlas Ascendancy that enables stacking, and it gives you like 4 times the multiplier to loot or whatever, right? And there are people that will do that once they're geared up. The issue currently is the gear is not high enough this early in, and we aren't dropping enough loot to gear up faster to deal with the challenge that we are presented. The other solution to this, which they will never go for, and I'm going to preface that right away, they will never go for this, is to implicitly give us determination and grace. The effects of determination and grace, remove it from the skill gem, make it reserve no mana, implicitly put it on my character. That's the other way to balance this, because for most players, right, unless you get really lucky with gear, which can still happen, you have to either get really lucky with gear, or you have to have smart loot turned back on, like what they did with Talisman. You can have low drop rates and good loot. The problem now is you have low drop rates and really bad loot, and no way to make that bad loot good loot. And that's the whole issue. The base game is not in a good state. The league is not very rewarding. So both of those things combined together causes the uproar. That's it. The base game isn't what it used to be. You can't have bad leagues and a bad base game. You can't have both. You can have one or the other. If you have a great base game like they've had for years and years and years and years, you can have bad leagues and people will still play them because the base game is just good enough to do that. We are not there right now, folks. We are not there. This is a step in the correct direction. However, they have to remove stacking for Archnemesis to survive and make it an engaging and fun gameplay loop. Until they remove stacking, no matter how much they nerf it, it will always be bad. It will always be bad. And it will always feel unrewarding for the difficulty. They need to rethink about adding in the higher tier of the harvest rolls that they removed, that they said were useless, and put them in at the current costs. And then make a tier below that that's substantially cheaper, that's the bad rolls. That's how you fix harvest. Done. Give us back the powerful crafts at the current cost, and then, like at 10% of the cost, gives the bad rolls. That way, if you just want to spam, you can spam. If you want to craft something really powerful, you can craft something really powerful, and you don't have to touch the numbers anymore. Just put it in at current cost, but the good rolls, and then make the less good rolls. So like the add and remove augment should be like 1/10 of the cost, and not require the special crystallized, I think it is, or crystalline, one of those two, essence. Don't require that. And instead of being 20,000, it's 2,000. Add and remove. Opportunity costs. You can do it either way. That's fine. Add reforges in at like 10 to 20. Normal reforges that are in right now at 50 to 150. And then give us the good ones at 50, 75, 100, 150. That's what you got to do. If you do that, this league's very salvageable and the base game salvageable. If you don't do that, people are going to stay on you and they're going to complain about loot, which is not the actual problem, but rather a symptom of the problem. It is a symptom of the problem, and the problem is Archnemesis is, by design, an unfun gameplay loop. To circumvent an unfun gameplay loop, you have to have crazy rewards. Crazy rewards. And we don't have that. So the other option is you take away the grotesquely overpoweredness of Archnemesis, where it's not the best gameplay loop, but they keep all the innovation, which is good, and they remove a lot of the ridiculous difficulty and bring things back into the realm of normality. And if they do that, it's fine. Then the base game's in a pretty decent state from the Archnemesis side. Then if they fix the Harvest side, we're ready to rock and roll, folks. I hope this was helpful. I hope I wasn't too overly critical. If you're not having fun this league, come back in a week or two. Don't keep playing. Don't keep playing. Don't give them your stream numbers when they release content like this. Now, I'll check after this release goes live and see what I think. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I'll see what I think. But they're going to have to earn back some trust with me personally. And this is coming from someone who's spent a ton of money on this game. A ton of money on this game. And they had to earn back my trust. So I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Stay sane out there. And if they're not going to make a fun game, it's okay not to support them. Have a great day, Exiles.